How's it going, everyone? Summit here. Today I want to showcase a very little known mechanic regarding Trinity that allows her to achieve extremely high levels of damage reduction. When paired with other frames and specters, a group's total damage reduction can far exceed the 99% limit of old Blessing Trinity. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly go over how this works with you guys and then show you the build, and then I'll go and transition over into some gameplay on MOT that I did with 3 other willing participants, and we actually managed to do 2 hours and 50 minutes on MOT only by using damage reduction, nothing else. And keep in mind, MOT has a 4 times damage multiplier on enemies, so they can do quite a lot compared to a regular enemy in the game. Now, also, we were nowhere near the limit of this build or this synergy because we didn't run out of survivability, we ran out of damage. Mainly because I was the only one really dealing damage, because no one had brought weapons that were capable of going really far into the game, and the only person that had, or if I had even brought a Zenistar, we would have been able to make it to 3 hours, but that's besides the point. You can take it much further, essentially. Now, to do this, all you have to do is have Trinity and work with Blessing. Now, Link also helps. Link will give you a guaranteed 75% damage reduction, assuming you're actually linked to an enemy, and Blessing, on the other hand, will also give you a 75% damage reduction. However, it has a very interesting synergy with other Blessing Trinities. Now, at base, it'll have 50% damage reduction, so you'll take 1 damage for every 2 dealt to you, right? But if you bring that power strength up, it'll cap at 75% damage reduction. As you can see right here, it'll show on the top right hand side of my screen that I have 75% damage reduction. Now, to achieve that, all you need is 150% power strength, and what's interesting is how it stacks with other Blessing Trinities. As you keep adding more and more blessings, each 75% damage reduction will stack on top of one another. And to give your damage reduction percentage, just depend on how many Trinities you have, essentially the formula is damage reduction percentage is equal to 1 minus 1/4 to the power of the total number of Trinities plus 1 times 100. Now, that is including Link in there. If you don't want to include Link, just get rid of the +1 after the total number of blessings, and there you go. So essentially a full Trinity squad, so you got 4 Trinities there, you can achieve 99.9% blessing. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, that's not really much better than the previous 99% blessing. Well, it is by a large margin, because that extra 0.9% actually lets you deal 10 times as less damage to yourself, right? So essentially you're taking 1 damage for every 1,000 dealt to you. Now that can be increased even further. Add in a healer specter and now you're taking 1 damage for every 10,000 dealt to you. So essentially the build is this. Just go in here. Boop. Okay. All you gotta do is just put duration and have enough strength on there. Now, I have transient fortitude max. It would actually be better to have this one from the top, because then you achieve that 150% power strength that you need, and you don't suffer the extra duration loss. So that's the one thing that can be changed from this build that would make it a little bit better. I actually enjoy running natural talent, and essentially all you got to do is just put on whatever mods you want. Natural talent is useful. All you're building for is duration and strength at 150%, and a little bit of range too. Just having Cunning Drift on there is just makes it nice to have, because you want to get that extra range. So, because if you can't link to enemies, then you're not getting that extra 75% damage reduction from Link. Now I'm going to move over to some gameplay. Okay, so here we are with our lovely Trinity squad, 138 minutes in, and the enemies are right around level 500. Essentially, all you gotta do to make this work is make sure everyone is watching their blessing timers so that everyone has all their blessings up at the same time. If you got 4 blessings up at once and you got your link up, it's really, really hard for you to die. It's like almost impossible, actually. Like versus regular enemies in the game, especially with a healer specter, there are very few things that can actually kill you. Now, versus level 500s or so on Mott, because of the 4 times damage multiplier, essentially Mott, you can, how much damage we're taking here, you just remove 1 Trinity and that's how much damage you're going to be taking in a regular mission, as opposed to MOT. Now, essentially you just gotta make sure all the blessings are up at one time, because with each blessing lost, now the entire team is taking quadruple damage. So if one blessing's lost, now you're taking 4 times as much damage as you would, or if 2 blessings are lost, now you're taking 16 times as much damage. So it's just really important for everyone to have all their blessings up at all times. Now, luckily, blessing is recastable, so you don't even have to wait for the animation or just the timer to be completely done. Now, I happen to be using the Vectis here with a gas build. It worked out okay. You want to be using the Lenka when it comes to unarmored enemies. We happen to be running ×4 corrosive projection, so that's why they don't have any armor here. But I also wasn't running arcane momentum, so my DPS was significantly lower than it was in the Wukong video with the Lenka, and because I wasn't running it mainly because the arcane changes hadn't come out yet, and arcanes were still only equipable to certain cosmetic items, so I wasn't feeling like distilling it when the day later it's going to be out. So anyways, you definitely want to be using the Lenka as opposed to the Vectis here, or Zenistars would be really, really useful. And especially, you can just even get rid of one of these Trinities. You don't even need them. You can just add in a damage frame like Banshee or Octavia or Rhino, right? Just to buff your damage to go even further. All in all, though, I actually had a lot of fun doing this run, and if it looks fun to you, I really suggest trying it, because it is completely against the meta build frames for Endgame. Just running all of one frame, like there's no other frames out there that you can just run all of one frame, except for maybe like Octavia, but that's Octavia, and she's yeah, she's Octavia. But anyways, I just want to say thanks to all the guys that decided to run with me. I'm going to stop the commentary here. If you like the video, please leave a like or subscribe if you feel like doing that too. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and tell me why, and why I suck at commentary in the comments. And as always, I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm going to keep the rest of the time going on. I'm going to have it all the way up to like 170 minutes or so. You can keep watching that for the next couple minutes if you wish. But as always, I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Tenno, prepare for life support. Operative just found. They could not do this without you. Another life support capsule available. Life support has been replenished. Critical life support levels. Extraction is your best option. Tenno, prepare for life support.